women. Thank you.
My name is Regina Jane Jerry. I'm the editor of the New African Woman magazine. My question is maybe to any of the panelists. Talking politics and empowering women, with two presidential candidates sitting in front of us, which is really, really uplifting. Politics is money, as we know. And in Africa, I think we are so known to be exclude women financially, starting from the home. I don't know how you actually go around that, when you are talking about, going for higher political office, when the same people that you are opposing to have all the means to production, they have all the means to finances, and even the toilet money can still go and drive a woman not to vote for you. So I don't know how you are actually going around in terms of financial inclusion and empowering women financially in order actually to reach that high office, because it doesn't come cheap. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm going to invite the panel, starting with Faduma this time, so we'll start at that end. We have two questions addressed to the panel. One regarding International Women's Day, is it for transgender women, does that include transgender women as well? And then the second one regarding financial aspects of political campaigns.
Yes, I would like to believe that the inspirational messages that we're imparting also applies to transgender women. Why shouldn't it? They are also human beings. I'm actually very touched that you're in the audience and you're asking this question. I remember being asked a similar question last year. Only it was a Somali man who was asking that question at the time. And the question he asked was, should he be ostracized, stigmatized and discriminated against because of his lifestyle? And if I were to come into office, what would I do about it? And I had responded that I would arrest anyone who did anything to anyone else because of their lifestyle or what they perceived as then doing, which would be illegal. And I'm against anyone taking the law into their own hands. I believe we have the same rights. And I would like you to see what we are doing and what we're saying as also applying to you. And thank you for asking that question. I will leave the second question to Mimata because I think I have addressed that by saying that I didn't have the opportunity to fundraise because of the challenges, the obstacles that I was facing from women. So I largely had to use my own savings. And the heartwarming thing in this was that the people who actually wanted to fund and who wanted to help me were foreigners, they were not Somalis. But also, really, there were men, there were also Somali women, young Somali women who also wanted to fundraise. And so I'm not saying, that all of them were against it. But it wasn't enough to get us moving forward.
Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. And I'm happy that you recognize that we are talking about all women, transgender, disabled, physically challenged, whatever. We stand to support everybody who is a woman. Congratulations for being so bold and for standing out, and I wish you well. Please don't hesitate to feel, don't ever consider the fact that when we talk about discrimination, We are fighting for discrimination against all women to be abolished, and we will achieve it. Thank you again. Thank you. I am proud of you. Now the next question is, I wish I had enough time to talk about our work. Because whenever we train women, the first question they ask, they expect us to pay their nomination fees. Because many of these women, you whet their appetite, you give them the training, you give them the confidence, they now know how to, they even practice how to deliver messages during our training sessions. No, not just saying. We give them the opportunity to practice how to deliver messages when they are campaigning. Once they've got all of that, you've whetted their appetite, they want to stand and they don't have money. It's a problem for us. So now, we are trying to diversify and we are trying to look at ways of organizing economic empowerment training, raising funds for these women. We've set up trust funds before. We've done fundraising. We've done all kinds of things to at least pay their nomination fees or help them do stickers and t-shirts, because no international organization will fund that, because they will feel that it's like coming to stay with you in your country. So it is very, very, just last week I was talking to Marina Nano, about trying to help farmers, women farmers, trying to help them modernize their family so that at least they can get something out of it. It is a very, very important question. It is a big, big barrier that prevents our women from going forward. And I'm so happy that you are here to live the reality of what we have been preaching all the time. We preach it, we read about it, it's literature. But when you see someone who has actually experienced it, it makes a difference. It's a case study. Honestly, I mean, I am taking permission now for you to allow me to use your story. Seriously speaking, I'm writing a book entitled 12 Steps to Women Winning Elections. And yours will be one of the case studies in one of the
And we accept that if the money that you will get.
I want to see you become a president, so I will do that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm sure the two ladies who have spoken before me have done it on my behalf in thanking our transgender lady to be here tonight. So I want to thank for the boldness that you have shown. So please, I think we'll be able to even share some of your thoughts and ideas and feelings at home. But let me tell you, when you want to be a leader, you want to be a leader of everyone. Even the snakes, the witches, in that country, have to be looked after by the So our party is not discriminatory. Our party would want to respect everybody in whatever form they are. So let me come to the money issue. When you start thinking about money, you will not leave your house. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to just pick up money. You just have to work strategic about it and get people to understand who you are. Especially when you want to be head of state, when you have a part of your own, your policies, your programs have to be appealing. Once the people feel that they are going to be covered or protected, they want to be part of that. So once you convince them, then money won't be a problem. But even though I don't have money, madam, when you start raising money, please post something because Maduma's time is far from coming.
Usually of them, they are just.
So, to respond to the lady's question, you know that women are less privileged in terms of the economic affairs. And what we are trying to do as the party is to make sure that our policies really try and look after women's expectations in the economic arena. So that is yet to come. But for what we are doing right now, we have tried to show our people that money comes second. What you have to do first is to make sure that you are clear with what you want to achieve. Then money will follow. Money follows the program. If there is no program, then you won't be able to see money. I thank you.
Hand towards the back. There. And this lady here. Yes. And then at the back, the man at the back.
Like business leaders.
Hello. My name is Hayat. I'm a final year student here at the LSE. My question is directed to Faduma. Thank you for that talk. It's really inspiring, especially as a young Somali woman myself. My question is about being part of the Somali diaspora and whether you feel that being a woman and being from the diaspora as well, do you feel like that was a secondary thing that held you back? Because I often find that we are stigmatized as having been too westernized and feeling like now we're just going to be going back and we're imposing a new way that isn't part of our culture. So do you feel like that's one of the reasons why you were rejected by the people there? Thank you.
And the gentleman at the back with the striped shirt and glasses. Yes, on the edge. Yes.
Is there?
It's a lady.
Oh, it's a lady.
Sorry, I'll put my glasses on. My name is Janet Fire, and I was born in Sierra Leone but live here. It's so good to see you again, Faduma, and to my silent system. Thank you so much for what you're doing. My question is more a controversial one. Should the UK government in particular, when it gives aid to a country like Sierra Leone, for example, should it have conditions attached that if they do not promote or progress on gender-friendly issues or a gender-friendly agenda, that they wouldn't get the aid next time? Because I've been looking at all the money that Britain has given to Sierra Leone, for example. I've looked at other countries, and I'm yet to see the impact it's made on women's lives, particularly young girls. So I'd really like all of you to answer that question for me. Thank you very much.
We have a question directed at Faduma. You can answer both. And then our other panelists, the second question regarding aid.
Thank you. I think that's a very interesting question. I don't think the fact that I came from the diaspora, I don't think that was a big problem because almost 70% of the cabinet comprised of people from the diaspora. I mean, if you look at Somali politics, majority of the politicians are from the diaspora. So that wasn't seen as an issue per se. And whether me coming from the diaspora and being a woman, whether that was a problem, I think, yes, the fear that, oh, she's coming now with all these Western ideas and she's going to influence our women and, as I said, that being seen as something that was un-Islamic and also going against the Somali culture and tradition, that was a challenge. But when I addressed that by using religious scripture and alluding to the fact that we don't hold men to the same strict standards, it died away. And so it's interesting you should ask this. You know, when I went back to Somalia in 2005 to go and help, I was working with the UN at the time. The first thing that was said to me was, and I left Finland because I was being told, you came here, you're stealing our jobs, you know, and others were saying you are on social welfare, you're you know, lazy. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to run away from this and go to Somalia and help my people. And strangely enough, you know, when I was told, why are you coming back here? You know, with to take our jobs. You ran away, got an education, and now you're coming to challenge us, and you want to take my job. It was very shocking. I was like, this is deja vu, you know. So really,
We are aliens.
I think for female politicians, every excuse will be used to make sure that you don't run.
Yeah.
And you will come to the realization that it has nothing to do with you. You know, Joice was talking about the fact that you need to have a platform, a mandate in order for you to fundraise and get funding. Well, that doesn't apply to the Somali context because it's premised, I mean, the electoral system itself is premised on the 4.5 clan-based system, and that's a system that completely excludes women. So no matter whether you have a mandate, a platform, it doesn't really help because the game is set against you, and all doors are closed, and they're going to remain like that unless you learn to kick them down, and that's what we're trying to do. In terms of the question that you asked, should aid be conditional? This is very interesting because we have the 30% gender quota in Somalia, and that came about as a result of strong pressure from the international community. Now, if you have an outdated, clan-based system, how can you impose a modern system on top of it and hope that it will yield results? And so, these two things cannot go hand in hand with there's a huge problem because when you have clan elders selecting the women who should fill the gender quota, and that is out of your control, then you know that it's not about quantity, it's not about numbers, it's actually about quality. You can have one woman sitting there and she can do a lot of good, and you could have 15 and they wouldn't do anything. And so, how do you make the two systems work together is really something that we can talk about. And I do think that aid should be conditional, but again, it depends where you are going to make those conditionalities apply.
I think to a large extent, a lot of it is conditional. Honestly, as early as when I was working before the health office in Ghana, the question is always asked, you must fill in a blank as to what you do for a living. But I don't think it matters to a lot of our countries. I don't think there are heavy penalties. At the beginning of we have an election assistance program in 50/50. That's about 13 activities that we carry out. One of the first activities is to hold a dialogue forum with political parties, hold a dialogue forum with people in government, and you talk to them about this. And we bring in the international community to take part in those discussions so that at least they will understand that they must do something, because if the international community was not stipulating or putting up penalties, they would not have launched the He for She campaign. We get them to put a lot of pressure on our political party leaders. We get them to put a lot of pressure on our people in government. But I don't know, I don't know how to smash patriarchy. We just have to smash it. There is any conditionality that can smash it. It is ingrained. We just have to continue. And we have to continue to put pressure on the international community for them to put all these conditionalities. If we don't, I don't know. But it's a difficult one, seriously. It's a difficult one. We are not giving up, though. But it's, I don't know.
Thank you. The issue with the diasporans at home, when I was still in government, vice president responsible for social ministries, there was a time when I was asked to head a recruitment program. Recruitment program because we had lost a lot of experienced people. They had gone out because in search of economic, survival. And when these diasporians were, answering to our call, they found resistance back at home. The question was, why are you now coming back? And these were the, sorry to use this word, the mediocre workers that were now worried about losing their jobs or losing their positions, which does not, go according to their qualifications. I still remember doctors and nurses that were coming back home, those that were running clinics and surgeries out here. When they came back, people literally questioned them, gave them tough time until they had to pack and come back. And which was a sad thing, because at home, these are institutions that are suffering from, having shortages of qualified people. So you can imagine, we have to do a lot in order to educate our locals that some of the problems, they are made by ourselves. We have to accept that we now have qualified people who are now staying outside our countries, and we are again going to those countries to seek help in terms of health, solutions, education solutions. To some extent, even those industries that have closed, they have not gone too far away from our borders. They have closed, and they have used the neighboring countries to manufacture things that we are following there, to use our meager foreign currency, buying them back in the country, which we should have saved. So it's really education that we have to give to each other, because if we don't do that, we will continue to suffer these setbacks. So let me also say that we as a party, we have a policy where we are trying to talk about the government right now, because we know we have not less than 3 million people who have gone outside the country. And these are people that have their families there now. And we need these people to come back home and vote. And they can't vote from where they are when they are supposed to be voters, true voters in the, for the coming election. So as opposition parties, my party included, we are working very hard so that diasporians know that they are an important entity. We want them to come back home, vote with us, come back home, help us, join us in rebuilding the economy of Zimbabwe. So when it comes to aid money is good. Aid money is needed when we are supposed to start something that we can then work on, not to continue to be given aid money. We want to aid money in order to create our industries, in order to create jobs that can now run on their own. Because right now, we have a problem. I once was Minister of Community Development, and we used to go to the communities, giving them resources to start projects. So that project used to be identified with the minister. Once the minister leaves that place, that project dies, because the minister is not coming all the time. So this is the problem with aid money to us as Africans. Let's not think aid money can give us everlasting solution. Let's use the aid money to start our own entity. Because the moment you fail to get it, you are angry. You no longer believe in what you can do on your own. So please, Let's look for aid money as seed money, and then we continue building on it on our own. Thank you.
Please state which panelist you're directing your question to.
Who? Can you hear me? Yeah. All right. So my name is Dr. Rhonda Gillespie Green, and I work for the GSMA, which is the Global Mobile Industry Trade Association. And so I'm very interested when you're talking about advocacy efforts, when you're talking about promoting yourselves and other women. How is technology, and specifically mobile technology and social media, playing a role in that? Dr. Mujuru, I remember quite recently in Zimbabwe, there were a lot of protests that were kind of propelled by hashtags on Twitter in Zimbabwe advocating for change, people are tired of what's happening.